Hi guys, welcome back. Today we are using purely scraps to finally decorate my, I don't know what this is called, the Cricut maker like lid. So I am using only what's in my scrap bag today to decorate this. So what I'm going to be doing is over here on my computer, you can see I've written the word create. So all I did was create, no pun intended. Okay. I just created a text box and wrote the word create. The font is close to my heart. Let me see what kind of font this is. It's called Close to My Heart Artistry, and it's a Cricut Access font. So this is the font I'm going to use, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out my scraps on my mat, and then I'm going to cut this out of the scraps and then weed it and transfer it onto my lid. So we'll see how it works. So all you're going to need is whatever vinyl scraps you have laying around, and I'm also going to be using this brand spanking new light grip mat because it's going to be really sticky. But if all you have is like a regular, light grip mat that you've been using that isn't as sticky, if you have a regular green mat, I would use that because we're going to be weeding this with it on the mat. So I'll show you what I mean, but you're going to want something relatively sticky. And I think that is it. So let's get started. All right, so I'm going to click Make It on my design space, and I want to see exactly where this is going to be cutting. So I need enough vinyl to cover about 3.5 by 10. So that is important because I want to just make sure that's the only place where I put vinyl. And so I've done this one other time with scraps before, and I think the trick is that you make your scraps relatively even and you don't make them too thin. So if you only have a piece that's like, I don't know, like this big but really long, we don't want to use that because it's not really it's gonna be a little difficult. So this purple, I'm just going to use kind of as my baseline, and I'm going to measure it and cut out a strip. So I'm going to do this in like strips because I feel like it's a little bit easier, and you just want to make your strips as straight as possible. So I'm going to do about 5 by about 2. So this is like, make this a little bit straighter. Actually, I'm going to use my paper cutter to make this much easier to get these straight lines. So I got this paper cutter when I first bought my Cricut. It was like part of the kit. So now all my strips are going to be straight. So I'm just going to start cutting strips out that are relatively the same size. And I can make them a little bit skinnier just to like make it a little more interesting looking. Alright, so you can see we have our strips, and if they're not the same length, that's okay. I'm making these bigger than I need to, just so I know that I have plenty of room to work with. And as you can see, I'm not being like super scientific here. Just cleaning up the edges. So sorry about the lighting. It is very cloudy out. it's been raining for the last 2 days or so. So I'm going into my scrap bag. Ooh, turquoise. So yeah, it's been raining like crazy, which for Southern California is not super common, but it's nice because we need the rain and nobody can really go out and do anything anyways, so. Okay, I know I said I just don't bother with skinny scraps, but I really like this pink, so I'm going to use it. I'll use this cream piece. And this is such a good craft for right now because if you don't want to go brave Joann's with everybody, why not use what you have? So this is some gold. I'll do another cream one. Ah, here's a big piece of pink. Perfect. We'll do some more purple. And so I think most of this is 651 vinyl or permanent, but you can use whatever you have. Obviously, if you're putting this on something where you want it to be permanent, you would use this permanent vinyl. But if you don't want to use permanent vinyl, that's fine too. All right, so let's see where we're at. All right, so I'm just gonna start arranging these on my mat. And so the reason why we wanted these to be relatively straight, sorry you guys can't really see that, and I know the lighting is not good right now. So we want these to be relatively straight and even just so the Cricut has an easier time cutting, and you want to make sure you don't overlap them. So I'm just trying to line them up as best as I can. And with the straight edges, using the paper cutter just makes it way easier to line everything up. So like I said, we have to do scraps up to this 10 mark line about, so and I'm just gonna scrape these down. Haven't done my purple yet. Purple. We'll do another pink. Oh, we might actually have enough. I want one more green. So if you don't have a paper cutter, no worries. You can totally do this without one. I just totally forgot that I actually had this laying around, so I thought, why not use it? Because I never really use this. Could totally use scissors. What's going to be my end color? This, no, I think it needs to be yellow. Yellow. I'll do this turquoise, my last one. All right, so now I'm just going to scrape these down really good. Make sure the edges are down so the blade doesn't get caught. How do I feel about this gold piece? I don't know if I like it. I think this might go better. Here, let's try. So I'm going to pull the, so obviously not part of the tutorial, you don't have to do this, but that gold was not feeling it. It was like too dark. So I'm just moving these all closer together, so don't mind me. All right, so we're good to go. We have all of our vinyl scraps, so I'm going to clean this mess up and then we can start cutting. All right, so now as usual, I'm going to hit continue. So it's going to find our machine. And the cut settings I'm going to use are just vinyl, just regular vinyl. All right. So now our arrow is flashing so we can load our mat. Just want to make sure everything's good on here. And I'm just using my normal fine tip blade. All right, so now we're going to cut. And so while this is cutting, I'm just going to take some rubbing alcohol on a cotton pad, and I'm just going to, see if we can move this so you can see, and I'm just going to clean off the top of the machine. All right, so we can move our machine for now and let that dry. We're done with our laptop. So now I'm going to weed this, but I'm going to weed it while it's on the mat. So I'm not taking it off the mat. All right, so now I'm going to be just weeding away the parts that I don't want. So I'm going to be just getting rid of all of the outside vinyl. Ugh. And I love this font already because there's no middles, so I don't have to worry about the middle of these letters because that's how the font was designed. So this is the first time I used scraps, so fun times. Okay, so this vinyl apparently was such a scrap, it has something else cut out of it. I don't even know what that is. That was from an old project, I guess, so I'm just gonna rip that piece off. All right, so this is ready to transfer onto our machine. All right, so I'm gonna take my transfer tape and cut a piece off. This piece I'm gonna save for something else. And so basically so this is the Expressions masking transfer tape that Auntie Tay sent me. It is my 100% favorite go-to transfer tape. It is the only stuff I use for the most part. So I'm just gonna roll this out and I'm gonna just roll it. And if you have any other transfer tape, this would of course work too. This is just what I'm doing. So I'm just rolling out a piece. So if you don't have a roll like mine, you can just cut out a piece that will fit. Just making sure I have enough. All right. And so now I'm just gonna place this on my design. Okay. So this is the trickiest part, is getting it off the mat, or getting it off of the carrier sheet because it's stuck to this mat. So you just have to be patient. Why am I like breathing so heavy right now? What is my problem? So some of these I might have to help it by just using my weeding tool. So I'll move this back so you can see. Using my weeding tool to kind of help pick it up and get it onto the transfer tape because they're such small pieces. But like that yellow just came right up. So this teal, just help it a little bit. All right, so far so good. Look at this cream. So I'm basically just kind of like wedging my weeding tool just to pick up the piece of vinyl. The last little pieces right here. All right, so we have our vinyl on our transfer tape, so we're good to go. Just that little piece of yellow, I don't know where that came from. So we're good to go. So now I'm gonna transfer this onto my lid. All right, so to make this a little bit easier on myself, I'm just gonna trim this here, and I can definitely save this piece of transfer tape for another project. That's the nice thing about this transfer tape is it you can get multiple uses out of it. So let's see. All right, so this is all clean now, so I'm just going to put this wherever I want. Let's see. I think I'm gonna do it off center. I think will look cool. So I'm just going to place this on as straight as possible. I'm just pressing down the center. Now I'm going to take my scraper and just scrape it on down. And I'm holding the, you can't see, but I'm holding the lid just so I don't break the lid off, and giving it good pressure. And now I'm just going to pull off my transfer tape. And there you have it. All right, guys, so there you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. We just decorated our beautiful Cricut lid only using scraps. So there is no waste here. We have no time for waste. Perfect craft for if you're stuck inside and can't go out to the stores. Just use what you have. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. And as always, happy crafting, and everyone stay healthy.